Welcome to the Love and Victory Show with Val, the place to laugh, sip on a little wine, and have open and honest conversation. Here you will find the tools to resolve real life issues. Unwind, pour up a glass, and get ready to exhale. Welcome to the Love and Victory Show podcast. Today's show title will be Since Day One. I have the ladies that have been on this journey with me since day one. Literally when I first started the podcast, my very first podcast. Today I have Aaliyah Allen. Thank you, Aaliyah. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, God. And I have Lachey Henderson.
you.
Oh, my God. I don't know if you guys had an opportunity to go back and check out that conversation back then, but today's conversation is going to be phenomenal because it's 2 years later, and I am still standing by the grace of God and good people like this that have supported me since day one. So we're just going to get into it. Aaliyah, tell the people who you are.
Hi,
A little bit about
everyone.
yourself.
Okay, I'm Aaliyah. I am a histology tech. I majored in biology, graduated from TSU. Go Tigers. Basically, I feel like I'm a well-rounded person. I focus on my health. Fitness has been my main focus as of lately. I have no kids, or I'm the only child, so family-oriented completely. But, I'm just out here living my life, make sure I'm praising God every day, and just going on my best journey.
Okay, then. I like that. So you're just all about really trying to find out and figure out what's best for Aaliyah and really finding out your purpose.
Correct.
Okay, then. All right, then. And who are you? Miss
My-
Lachey Henderson?
Hello, everyone. My name's Lachey. I'm a mother of 4. I enjoy being a mother, taking care of my kids. I'm in school right now for nursing, and that's been a long journey for me, and it's going well so far. And me as a person, I am well-rounded. I love
What do you
everyone.
like to do? What do you like to do? What are some of the things you like to do?
Well, the things that I like to do, I like to be involved in my children's lives. I participate in all their sporting events, just everything that that revolves around family and friends and motherhood. Yeah.
Okay, then. All righty. As you guys can see, I elected to bring these ladies back because they are so special to me. They have supported the Love and Victory Show with Val literally since day one. They have behind the scenes and, of course, just being out there. And I want you guys to know, what has this journey been like for you guys, or why do you guys keep coming back? For you, Aaliyah, what has this journey been like, sitting from behind the scenes and seeing it go? What is it like for you?
So, honestly, for me, since the beginning, I never doubted you, but I didn't know how far you would go. So, coming from me, I do listen to a lot of podcasts. Not that I talk, but I am a listener. So, just watching you advance from the very beginning when there's no actual video, and now there's video, and I remember when we first started, just kind of figuring out how to adjust by conversation from the mics, just all that entails with radio and podcasting. So this journey is amazing. I love how you bring different people of different backgrounds, ethnicities, walks of life, color, anything, and it's just well-rounded to where different topics, career paths. So I love the angle. I love everything about the direction of this podcast, the uplifting approach, and I'm just, glad to say that I've been a part of this journey.
Okay, then. Well, I'm going to come back to Lachey on this, but I want to ask you, do you remember that very first podcast and how petrified I was?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, ladies, do y'all mind telling the people, and I put me out there, people talk about in so many things, you just see what you see. I'm a person that's very transparent, and I'm willing to just put myself out there. I give you guys full permission to just tell exactly how I was then. So who wants to jump in on that and kind of talk about that day one? You want to take it? Do you remember?
I remember.
Okay, well, go for it.
I mean, so so I feel like that's why it's so different, because the first day that we did the podcast, first of all, we were all handed papers. Like, okay, this is what we're gonna discuss. Everybody read this. Do y'all need to write down what you? Yeah, it was like a preparation, and then when we started, nobody actually looked at the paper, but when you think about it now, you don't have none of those type of preps.
It was very scripted.
Yeah.
It was something that I think about, and you jump into it, Lachey. I think about when I first started this podcast. I knew God gave me this gift
Right.
and this passion, and He put me on this journey, but I didn't know anything about it. So I was really trusting everyone else, and I actually, full transparency, I really doubted myself in a lot of ways, and then I wanted to trust the people that went
That came
that
on the show.
that actually I wanted to trust the people that was telling me what to do
Okay.
versus really listening and staying focused on what God had told me. And so they were trained. They said, you need to have a script. Give everybody a script. This. And I knew that He had told me that this needed to be a candid conversation. And a candid conversation, something honest, is not scripted. You just say it.
Because
So-
that first podcast, we definitely went off script.
Well, you guys make it easy for me, and I think that's the good thing. You guys make it easy because you're so transparent, and I want you guys to be transparent about this conversation. So for someone that is thinking about or wanting to look at a podcast out there, what can you tell them that they can get out of listening to the Love and Victory Show podcast?
Well, personally, I listen to podcasts, but it's not a thing that I do on a daily basis. What anyone can get out of from the Love and Victory Show is that you're gonna get information and retain information regarding your health, your love life, God, everything. And I think that with that being said, you can you'll retain a lot of information listening to the Love and Victory Show. She's gonna tell you how it is, just everything.
Okay, I like that. I'm going to keep it real.
Yeah.
What would you say that they can get out of, since you do listen? So I love having the two different perspectives. One that is not listening to podcasts every day and on a regular basis, except for the Love and Victory Show.
Yes.
So your perspective
That's about the only one that I've listened to.
Right.
To
So
anyone
that's
else.
telling me that the Love and Victory Show is doing something that it keeps you in tune. So hats off to you. Keep listening, baby. You don't have to listen to the other, but keep listening. But anyway, well, since you listen to multiple podcasts, and that's something that I believe you say you listen to throughout the day while you're getting your work done.
Correct. Yes.
So can you tell me, what are some of the podcasts that you won't go back to? What type of podcast you won't go back to?
Okay, that's very easy for me. So any podcast that's only related to one subject, I won't go back to. So if it's like a podcast, no offense, that's strictly talking about sports, okay, I'm interested in sports, but only sports, no, I'm not interested. Or a podcast that's only talking about maybe being a mother. Maybe I want to have a little insight, but I don't always want to listen to a podcast about being a mother. So I just like different topics, diversity, different angles, random conversations, everybody keeping it 100% upfront. So that's something that you give on your podcast, and that's, of course, why I continue to listen. So
I like that. If you had a friend that was out there and she was probably going, or he was probably going through something in their life, and I'll say maybe dating, do you think that the podcast that we put on is something relatable? And what podcast would you think from the Love and Victory Show you would maybe not know the name, but do you think we've done something that can help them?
yes, for sure.
What about
Yeah.
you?
I can't remember which one, but you are always a mentor about regarding anything that you discuss, and that's going to be put out there to help everyone.
I think if I go back to our day one podcast, the COG podcast we had a whole script there, and I think they wanted us to talk about something. It was so random, but I think we ended up talking about several different topics that day. We went into, do y'all mind if we go there a little bit?
Oh, of course.
We went into talking about dating and then what we like in dating. And I think one of the things that's standing out in my mind right now is that when Lachey said something about
I've never dated.
Marriage? Oh, I thought it was marriage.
she never dated.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so I was like, what do you mean you never dated? Do you mind expounding on that so y'all can understand why my mouth dropped? So you couldn't see the visuals then because it was just all audio. So now you guys get to see the visuals and really hear it. Do you mind sharing that?
Well, my thing was that I've never dated because in the relationships that I had, they just came and it was almost kind of like, yeah, you're my girlfriend, I'm your boyfriend, and that's that. Like, I never got a chance to, date multiple people or see other people while talking to one person.
So she said that, but then it didn't end there. And so keep in mind, these young ladies, I consider like my daughters. And so, and even with my daughters, I give them the freedom to be very candid and open as long as we're respectful. And so, and I love having conversations with young adults and just women and men in general where you can just feel comfortable. So when Lachey said to me, oh God, I had to keep my face up and kind of clutch my pearls. Do you remember when you said to me in that conversation, what was it? How did she say it? We were talking about, what did you say? You said something about
No telling.
you like to try, you tried different things. I think you said something along the lines about,
I think she was telling her story about how she never really dated or how she just ended up in relationships.
and then she said something about, because I asked what kind of person you did. I can't read. It was so,
Yeah, that conversation.
it was so honest, and it was so,
Yeah, that just came out.
but it was so honest, and it was so special that she felt comfortable, because I think we talked about tattoos, and then you talked about how, you just kind of did what you did, and then you were done. You remember?
Oh,
I
sure did.
Girl,
Yeah, okay, we did go.
you remember? Let's
Yeah,
go.
you sure right. Okay, yeah. So
Okay, see, I keep it real.
So yeah, it was an instance where I would deal with a guy. Like I said, I was like I said, I never dated. It was just I dealt with a guy for a few months or maybe close to a year or so, and then I was on to the next one because they wasn't worth my time.
So basically, that conversation was like, how typically we say that guys get it and quit it. Lachey basically, and she's being so graceful because she's matured. It's been 2 years
From that conversation.
but from that conversation, she's
I think
grown.
I didn't.
And so she said, and it was on a Saturday. So, and this is still a weekday. But she said, how guys, they get it and quit it. What she said that day, which was so refreshing, but I wasn't expecting it. She said, give it, bye, see you later. And pretty much, right?
That's pretty much what it was.
And so I love the fact that she felt so comfortable with just truly expressing who she is and who she was at that time. The person that she is now, obviously, is not the person that she was then, but I love that she was willing to step on this platform and be honest. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. And Aaliyah was that person sitting that day. You remember how scared you were?
I was so
She was so petrified. You remember?
Yes.
She was scared to talk, so you had to do all the talking. I think that's
I
probably
did.
you. I think that's why you had to come with a lot of the
until
all the
shenanigans.
information.
Yes. So
Cover it up.
yes. So tell me, Aaliyah. With that being said, how are you feeling today, sitting here in a different room, in a different space, are you still feeling nervous, shy?
Honestly, no. I thought I would be a little bit nervous because of, it's video.
Yeah.
But comparing it, maybe it was just because it was the first time. I felt like you kind of could gauge, like, okay, is everything organized? Like, everybody, we're on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was like that uneasy feeling. And also, with some podcasts, it could be like an actual interview, and I didn't want that. I didn't want like an interview, like a question answer
Yes.
instead of like an actual conversation. So definitely, once Lachey got to talking, I was like, okay, we could talk about like that.
Anything,
So,
yes.
yeah.
Okay, so we've gotten that all out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
What's happening in your life today? Think back 2 years. Let's talk about what's happening, where you were 2 years ago and where you are now.
Okay, so I would say as of last time for the first podcast, it was more where, okay, once we start talking, just keep going. It was no like going back. We couldn't ponder. I feel like everything was just more pressured a little bit, and nobody was that much candid. I know I wasn't able to be candid. So now I feel like I'm in a space where I'm able to be vocal. I feel very comfortable with Ms. Carter, with the team. And you picked very well with your team.
I have a good team.
You have an amazing team.
So let me ask you guys, let's talk about your first experience. What was it like? And why were you so nervous? Because actually, we started talking and you took over.
I was so nervous because I didn't know what to say. I didn't want to say the wrong thing. I didn't, of course, whenever you're being recorded, you got to watch, certain things you say, but then I still came out and was saying stuff off the wall.
Well, can I tell you something? I want to say this before I come over here. I don't think that there's ever anything wrong when you're telling the truth. Mm-hmm. And so I think a lot of times what we do, and I think a lot of our fear, and that was my issue when I think back to from day one, my biggest issue was I was worried about what other people were going to think of me and how it was going to come off and how it was going to sound. Mm-hmm. I don't worry about that anymore. As long as I'm telling my truth, and for those that are listening and for you guys, as long as you're telling your truth in anything that you're doing, you can't spend time worrying about how somebody else is going to see you. You're going to always have a critic out there telling you what you did wrong, how you pronounce this, how you look. Just walk in your truth and don't waste your time on what other people think of you. So with that being said, Lachey and Aaliyah, if I look at you guys 2 years later, you both have grown so much.
Yes.
I'm going to talk about you, and then I'm going to come back to Lachey. Look at you. In 2 years, you decided to do something different for yourself. When I look at you. You've always been fly. You've always been this person that can dress and have style. But I heard you say that you made your health important. Yes. What was that all about? And did a podcast or listening to something someone said, or what is it that triggered you to say, I need to change something?
Actually, what's funny is we did have a conversation on the podcast when we were all talking about social media and how it can influence you in a negative way. Mm-hmm. In a negative way, but I guess, it can encourage you in some way. But when we were talking about how when you scroll and you see pictures of, girls with nice bodies and BBLs, and it's just like, dang, I can't afford it. And I'm not going to lie, during that phase, I was coming to Lachey, like, Lachey, where you think I can go for, get my body done? How much money you think? I'm even applying for care credit, trying to see if I could get, help with trying to get my body done. Yes. So it was just all bad, and realizing, like, Aaliyah, girl, you haven't even had kids yet. Take a step back. Try it yourself first, put your health first, put your fitness first, take a step back from any unwanted relationships, and honestly, focus on me. And that 2 years, that's literally been my focus.
And look at her now.
Look at her
Lord.
now.
I kept
Thank
telling her, I was like, girl, you do not need any surgery or anything.
Yeah.
You just got to work out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was just like, nah, sis. Like,
And I can tell you, well, how many pounds, if you don't mind me asking that, how many pounds have you lost? Let's talk up to you. Let's be honest. How 2 years ago, since day one, how much did you gain?
okay, so 2 years ago, and even a year ago, I was at 210. So it's definitely been a journey. I'm at 160 now.
Look at that.
And
Look
still,
at that. Look at
Yes.
that. Look at that.
Go,
You know, and
Thank you.
I'm going to be honest with you. I think the hardest thing, and I don't know if you remember me saying this, and thank you, Lachey, I had no idea that you and her were having
Yes.
your own conversation. But I went in one day, and you remember that conversation when I said, you can't just keep sitting around. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, we can talk
Go
about
ahead.
that.
Put it out. You remember when I was talking to you about you loving yourself
Right.
and taking care of yourself, and people
Right.
see you differently when you have. Why don't you share that?
I feel like, I don't know if you're talking about more so like I was putting a lot of men or before myself, as far as, trying to extend my arm to them, cook for them, clean for them, when, it's,
You were still broken.
yeah, I was still broken. I'm not married, and nor was I living with anyone, but I wasn't focused on Aaliyah. So it just, deterred me away from me, and then it's kind of like, next thing you know, they're gone, and it's just kind of like, I'm looking like, wait, what happened?
I done did all this,
Right.
and now you're leaving me
Right.
alone. So, do you think having conversations or listening to podcasts helped you to really come out of that journey, of that
Yes.
space that you were in?
Yes, because I even realized, even in one of your podcasts, talking about like more so confidence, or us just as women holding our head up high. Even the discussion you had with, I forget her name, she's in Arkansas, she has the boutique.
Vakita.
Vakita,
yes.
Even
uh-huh.
Vakita, it's like just y'all conversation, and it's just more so about, as a woman, these are my standards. I just know what I'm worth. I dress according to this, even if I'm the most dressed up person in the room,
This
look
is
at
my
me.
style,
Like,
yeah.
and I think all that did cater to like, okay, me like realizing, Aaliyah, like, be you, like, let's rear back. And all of that, even the podcast, and I feel like knowing that I can't blame maybe my relationships for not working, or the guys, I have to look at myself and realize, like, you need to gain the confidence. You need to be the one to show that, because men, they see that.
They
when
see
you're
it
not
before,
confident.
baby. They see
When
it.
you're
They
insecure.
see it. Oh, they see it, and you know what? They plot on that.
Yes.
Whether
Trying to
male
take
or
full
female.
advantage
of it.
People see a person that is broken. Someone. I don't want to say people. I'm gonna say a predator.
Yeah.
And a predator doesn't necessarily mean that a predator is someone that is you probably will look at them looking raunchy or whatever. But no, a person that's seeking to find someone weak will spot out another person that is not confident. So let's talk about you, Lachey. 2 years now, what has changed in your life outside of you going to school? But I'm talking about from a personal standpoint. And has anything on the Love and Victory Show podcast, anything that may have been said by someone, or maybe that you think, just one comment you think that can that changed your life or changed something in you?
I know it was one show I was watching that I was listening to. I think it was on a Sunday, and it was a comment where someone said that to keep pushing and put God first. I mean, I'm not gonna say that I'm your Christian woman, but I do put God first. I've been focusing more on myself and getting myself together. I've been trying to work on my health, but I'm gonna get there one day.
There.
But other than that, just just when I'm focused on myself and I'm gaining all my confidence, because I didn't 2 years ago my confidence was low, so now I'm gaining everything. I'm getting myself together. I'm pushing through, and ain't nobody stopping me.
Okay, then. I do think that one of the things, if we're going to have this, we're going to wrap this up, and I'm sure we'll come back again, and maybe we'll have some behind-the-scenes conversation. Maybe I can get my coordinator to keep the cameras rolling, and they can take some clips out of here. But I do believe that it's always good to go back and look at where you were to where you are now and say, you know what, I may have missed the mark there, but look at how much I've grown. If we focus on the things that's wrong in us, we miss out all the beauty. I look at you're in school for nursing and you're acing that. You're evolving in motherhood. You're learning all of the ups and downs in motherhood. And then I think about you. You were over 200 pounds. And I'm saying that looking at the camera, and I've been on that journey. We've all been on that journey where we felt bad about ourselves, but we put a smile on, but we were really crying on the inside. Look at you. So the sky is the limit. And hey, ladies and gents, if there's anybody out there struggling with some quiet behind-the-scenes things that you don't want to talk about, you know what those issues are. You can go get you some help. Work on it. It's never too late. And so with that being said, ladies, what would you like to leave the Candy Crew with that you think can change their life or help them with? What would you leave them with?
I would just say, like I just said, focus on your confidence, put yourself first. If you do have insecurities, you have to focus on that even before you enter a relationship. Just, revert back to finding yourself. Not even, gonna put religion in it, but for me, finding God for me or building a relationship, that has helped me. But whatever it is, it can be, you gaining clarity with life and vibing with plants. Whatever it is, just take time out for you and focus on you, and this life will be clear for you.
Okay. And you, Lachey?
Be an inspiration to yourself.
Oh.
Don't give up. Don't let anyone bring you down. Keep your head held high. Walk straight, and everything will be good.
Okay. And what would y'all like to leave? What would y'all want to pour into the Love and Victory show? And what can we do to continue to keep you guys' interest in the show?
Like y'all are doing now, keep it diverse, keep different walks of path, different age groups,
Keep
different
being you.
Yes, keep being authentic, 100% candid. All of that, like exactly what y'all are doing now, honestly.
Okay, then. And of course, always, I love my day ones. And thank y'all so much for always loving me and supporting me. Hey, find your circle, find your community, stay close to them. We love you, and until next time.